Hey everybody. Okay, so I hope you guys are all doing good. This is the tarot meaning minor arcana for the King of Wands. Okay, and I'm gonna talk a little bit. I'm gonna talk about him. Okay, so some of the traits about the King of Wands. So he's a leader and he's very creative and innovative. He's very expressive, stylish, unique. He's like the type of person where if if you were to go and enter a room, people would just stare at him or look at him because he has he has style, and like I always say before, depending on depending on what you're asking or what your question's about, he can represent a person or a trait it's referring to, or just uh he could represent an action you need to take, so always pay attention to what you're asking. Like if you're asking, oh, what do I do in order to pursue my love interest, then if you see the King of Wands, it's telling you to just be bold, just say it, say what's on your mind, and be a little creative too. I mean, you don't just have to just say it, but be a little expressive when you make your feelings be known. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between a king and a queen, because I've already discussed a little bit about the queen and what she's like, and I've said that I was pretty careful with how I described her, specifically because there has to be a difference between the two, the king and the queen of wands. For instance, the Queen of Wands, it's more about how she feels, it's how she feels and how she thinks. It's internal. So something about feeling or thinking, you know, all those uh all those traits that I described to describe her, confident, energetic. It's all about the inside, what you feel inside. But the king, because it's a masculine quality, is it's about the outer, it's the outward expression. So here you have one step further, right? It's basically saying to be bold, like to take action, not just think it anymore. It's not in the thinking stage anymore or the feeling stage. I mean, um, what we manifest comes from within. So the queen, of course, is very important, but it's like in the end, the king is essentially um, it's what you want to. It's really what what we aim for. We want it to manifest, and he is the manifestation of all those traits. Um, so I'm not saying that one is better than the other. It's a different expression of pretty much a lot of the same things. They're both energetic, they're both positive, they're both warm. They're outspoken, because they're both masculine in, when it comes to the signs they're associated with. I mean, the wands are associated with fire, as the element, and fire signs are all masculine. And so the King of Wands represents Aries. And if you know anything about Aries, they're typically very, they tend to be bold. That's what they're associated with. Their cardinal sign. So everything about, this king basically speaks, leader, fiery and all that. Okay, so yeah, and aside from being unique and expressive and actually doing it, I'm gonna talk about the love aspect. So so okay so he can represent the qualities of your lover. Okay, so like I said before, I don't say that if it, if a queen or a king comes up, I don't limit it to any one gender, like literally. I take it more to be like figurative, meaning, how if there's a woman that seems a little masculine and a male that seems more, effeminate, things like that. That's how I typically see the cards, and I just say, okay, so the King of Wands could represent the traits that somebody who the person I'm reading for, what their traits are, what type of personality they have. Like, for instance, if I'm reading for a guy and he wants to know about the type of woman that's coming into his life, well, the King of Wands, if it comes up, is saying that she might be very, expressive. She could be very headstrong and bold and, you know, I mean, the reason why she's being represented like a king as opposed to a queen, for instance, is because she's past just feeling, um, confident and energetic. I mean, she does it, she actually walks the walk, so it's basically those traits at its outer, and I hope you guys get what I'm saying when I say this. Um, it's fully expressed. So, okay, so I'm gonna say um, if you're like seeking advice, if that was your question and you want to know how to get love in your life or how to pursue somebody, depending on what you may ask, and depending on the position it falls in, it can tell you to do or not do these things. If let's say the King of Wands fell into the past position, it could be telling you to stop being so expressive, to keep your mouth shut. Because if it's in the past, it's saying it's a quality to discard. You see, I don't really use reversals and, I don't do the whole reversal thing. So the way I look at it is if something needs to be kind of lessened, if the qualities of something needs to be lessened down, I look at the past cards, which tell me that those are qualities you need to let go of. So if it's present for the past, it might tell you to, stop this. Or if it's in the future, it's saying to embrace it, to start acting that way. Take on the King of Wands traits. Okay, and okay. So another thing is, you just have to use your intuition pretty much to know if it's telling you, um, if it's just something about the past. Like if you were to see the King of Wands in the past position, and let's say you weren't really, if you're an intuitive reader like I am a lot of the times, sometimes seeing the King of Wands or any card, just because it's in the past position doesn't always mean that it's telling you it's a quality you need to let go. It can also be saying to just, it's something that had happened, it happened, and it's mainly just telling you a little bit about your history. Okay, so you just have to, I guess, sort of use your intuition. And like I said, you got to look at the surrounding cards. Like if there's an obvious pattern where there's, other cards around it, say, that are more reserved, like if you got something more reserved, like let's say, I don't know, like what kind of cards do I think are reserved? Like if you got the Hermit, or if you got something that's not as blunt or, out out there. I'm trying to think anything. Well, I'll think of something, but maybe like the Four of Swords or something, or the Two of Swords. I mean, they're more, I guess, quiet, and if you got those in positions that are giving you advice, then you might want to see this as, you know, this can give you that extra dimension to tell you, okay, maybe it's something you need to let go of. But if you can't see this, you know, in connection to anything telling you to stop being bold, it's probably just saying, you know, for the sake of it, that you did something bold in the past, or, you know, somebody described, you know, like this king was involved in your life. You know, you have to really look at the connections, and you know. Okay, so um okay, so a lot of what I said about the King of Wands is very similar to the Two of Wands, and I'm gonna just note some differences so that I'm not basically repeating myself. Okay, because all these cards are different in their own right. Some are more similar than, you know, to each other than others. Like they reinforce each other, but a reinforcing card of the King of Wands would be the Two of Wands. But there are some differences, because the Two of Wands is more, the guy in the Two of Wands is more like an entrepreneur. Okay, he's bold as well. He is bold. That's one of the things that make them, you know, similar, but he's not quite like a leader in a way. He's like the entrepreneurial type. He, you know, he's like the self-employed, does his own thing, is good at it, but doesn't have people really working for him. The King of Wands is the leader type. He's very innovative, but he's more like, think of him as more of a, excuse me, more like the corporate, you know, leader or something. He's, you know, he's very creative and good at what he does, but people, there are definitely people working beneath him, hence the king. But the Two of Wands is, you know, he's got great ideas. What he's doing, you know, it has potential. You know, his ideas are still haven't, you know, gotten have not taken off yet, you know, but it's telling you, it's basically promising you that there will be results, you know, because of the wonderful, or the, you know, very creative or unique idea that the Two of Wands energy possesses. The King of Wands, he's already there. He's already manifested, you know. He is, you know, if you want to have a, you know, a business, a real functioning business, no matter what it is, you know, there's an element of creativity that needs to be done in businesses, you know, that how do you attract people, you know, and he is the epitome of what most people want. You know, they want their business to be good and they want it to function right. Okay, so he gets a lot of attention, um, and you know, he has a lot of charisma. Okay, and so in work, so it's saying, in other words, you know, just always think about the positioning. So it's saying be bold about things, you know, just have the audacity to do it. You know, just do it. You know, it's saying do it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to express yourself. He's definitely not shy. He's not a shy person. And so it's saying adapt those qualities. It could just be describing somebody you know at work like this, or you know, you have to really pay attention to what it's truly saying. Okay, so in finances, it's the same thing. The whole bold thing comes into play. So if you're bold in your finances, what do? A lot of times you take risks, right? So the King of Wands is basically saying you should or should not take those risks, depending on where you see them. You know, it could even be a bad, you know, thing. If you see this in the past and then you're suffering in the present, it could be that a risk you took caused you to end up in this, you know, situation, this dilemma in the first place. Yeah, and so, you know, that's why I always say, you know, one card for a reading, pretty much any reading, no matter how specific it is, you know, or simple it is, whatever you want to call it, one card isn't going to really answer anything. You know, you don't know what to do with it. It's like one word in a sentence. You know, the King of Wands is about being bold, but into what? But how are you supposed to use that quality? Should you use it, or should you discard it? You know, you could be taking the wrong advice if you don't do like a full spread, you know, to get the whole picture. So you know, you got your you got your bold, you're risking things, I mean, I always think of him as like somebody that plays like the stock market or something, or he's very daring, and he could be saying that it's time to take a risk so that you flourish, and that you prosper. And let's see if there's anything else I can share about the King of Wands. Um, okay, so if sometimes people use him to, or use court cards to describe people's looks. Typically Wands, traits are red hair or blonde, so I would say, since he's got kind of reddish hair, probably a redhead with, blue or green eyes and light skin. I would say he's someone above the age of 35 because he's mature already. Um, but he's mature, but he's also still interesting. He's definitely not boring. He's got a very, spicy personality. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's all I pretty much can share about the King of Wands. I think partly it's because he shares a lot of the qualities as the Queen as well, but all I really had to address about him is that he's that 1 degree further. He's about the getting the results of that, the actual um, manifestation of what these traits are like in the outward sense. I mean, somebody can be confident and excited and happy and cheerful about something on the inside, and people will still pick up on it. That's why the Queen is so popular. That's how she's usually so popular. But the King of Wands, he basically captivates people in a different way, because he actually shows it outward, and people are in awe with him. So, okay, so that's my video on the King of Wands, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, or you can visit my website at www.stellartarot.com, and the link is in the description. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.